Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our Google Hangout called How to Build Your Business. We've got Mitch Matthews and Adam Carroll on today. I'm excited to ask them 3 questions each. And without further ado, let's just jump right on into it. We have a full room here today in our first ever Google Hangout. It's exciting. I want to introduce Adam really quickly and then Mitch. Adam, actually, before I introduce you, why don't you tell us where you're at and a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm coming to you live from my home office here in West Des Moines, Iowa, and I am a self-proclaimed financial literacy junkie, and I'm all about helping make people's lives easier by understanding a few core concepts that I was taught by a number of different people, one of which being a software engineer that sold his first company for $12 million. And he taught me that we have four legacies to leave future generations, and they are financial freedom, time freedom, relationship freedom, and service freedom. So we're going to talk a little bit about maybe some of those today, Josh. I'm excited to be here with you.
Sweet. Thanks, Adam, for making it out. Hey, Mitch, welcome to the call. Tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, thanks, Josh. I'm honored, and it's awesome to see so many beautiful wonderful faces on this. I'm Mitch Matthews, and I'm actually calling from my home office as well. I'm in the back cave today as opposed to my office. But I actually have this weird day job of helping people dream bigger and achieve more, and that takes a lot of different roads, but basically I work one-on-one with people as an executive coach or personal coach and to help them get clear on their dreams. I also work with organizations to do that. And then we also have a whole training program that helps people to coach others and build businesses, six-figure businesses around that very concept of helping people to dream bigger and achieve more. And then we do these crazy events called Big Dream Gathering. Just regular people think about their dreams and finally get them down on paper, put them up on the walls, and start taking massive action. So I've got this weird day job of getting to focus on big dreams and helping people live the life they were created to live. So super stoked to be here, though, and get to talk about wherever we go today.
Sweet. Well, it's good to have you. Well, let's do this. Somebody just took a screen grab. This is kind of fun. Let's start with Adam. I've got 3 questions, and I am going to ask Adam one first. Hey, Adam, tell us about a recent struggle in your business that you have been able to overcome and use to your benefit.
Oh, boy. Recent struggle that I have I've overcome. Well, one of the biggest struggles being a home-based business and an entrepreneur with family is my ability to get distracted is exponentially larger than most people's. I have 3 kids who, they know that dad's home, and when dad's office doors are closed and the shades are drawn, they're really not supposed to come in, but there's a distinct difference between availability and access. And my youngest is not quite old enough to understand the difference between the two, so we've had to really set some expectations on that. And in getting interrupted by my family, I also realized that I needed to learn how to limit my own chance for distraction. So, I find that during the day, there are times where I'll shut off my phone, I'll turn off my computer, I'll literally detach from Wi-Fi completely if I have to get writing done or something like that. I've also realized that car time is the best time for me to be on the phone as opposed to office time. So I'm trying to utilize my time a little bit differently because, it's, in my mind, it's my most valuable asset. I'm just trying to use it accordingly.
Talk to us how you get in your own way.
Well, growth has been something that I've been centered on the last 6 to 8 months, and I'm a speaker, so a lot of my business is me going out and speaking on college campuses. And because there's just one of me, it limits, obviously how much availability I have. I'm going out and trying to speak as much as possible. But at some point, I either have to increase my fees or clone myself in order to make more money. And so what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to book more engagements. And I realized that me doing that for myself was probably not the best method. So I ended up hiring an assistant. And there were times with my assistant where I would have the mentality of it'll just be faster and easier if I do it myself. But it became really crystal clear that the more I did that, the more it hampered my ability to grow. And so I think the way I was getting in my own way was I kept thinking to myself, I'll just do it real quick. And it's actually the wrong way to think, especially if you're learning to grow and trying to figure out how to scale and expand your business. You've got to be willing to delegate and clearly communicate and articulate expectations and things like that, which I've been trying, knock on wood, to be better at.
That's awesome. Hey, Mitch, talk to us about a recent struggle you had in your business and kind of how you overcame that.
Yeah, that's a great question. For us, I'm somewhat like Adam in that a part of what I do is a lot of speaking, but then I also do coaching. But a lot of it's then dependent on me. So for our business to grow, kind of like Adam talked about, I was wrestling with that. For us to make more, we need to, I basically, my only option was to work a lot more, which wasn't always possible, or to charge more, which, sometimes was appropriate, sometimes wasn't. But for me, probably, obviously the profit motive is there. We have teenage boys that eat a lot. So, I need to fill the fridge and all those things. And, just from a business perspective, I want my business to grow. I want to be more profitable, more effective each year. But for me, from a personal standpoint, I was also realizing that my impact was also limited by how much I could do in a day. And, I've got this crazy goal of wanting to help launch 1 million dreams in my lifetime. And so, I was kind of wrestling with that whole thing of, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to grow if it's still just all dependent on me. So scalability was a huge challenge for us. And so one of my goals really over the past year and a half has been how can I, because I'm like Adam, cloning myself, wasn't really a viable option, but it was something that's like, well, we can't do that through medicine, but how can we do that through technology? And so in some ways started to clone myself through moving more towards automated products and automated educational products. And what's been exciting about that is, for example, one of the things that we did was we have a coach training that we do. We help people to become business coaches, life coaches, personal coaches, executive coaches, and we've done that in a very live setting. But that was one of our first things that we wanted to do, was to be able to say, what if we could take that online and create an amazing online experience for people and help them to achieve what it is they want to do and teach them, but not be limited by them flying to Des Moines or flying to Chicago to attend a live event. What if they could do it in their own homes? So we basically kind of deconstructed that whole live event and reconstructed it online, and basically we're able to roll it out into basically a 40-day program that would roll out over a period of time. And then we automated the marketing of it, and automated the rollout of it, all of the training and all of that stuff. And so lo and behold, we were able to duplicate ourselves. So although I don't have a clone walking around, we were able to make a lot more impact through this automated process of training. So now we're looking at, what are some other ways that we can incorporate that, either through smaller programs, focusing on one part of the business, or one part of getting clear on goals and dreams or whatever, and breaking those down and kind of expanding our offerings so that we can have more of an impact, but also grow our business in the way that we want to.
Awesome. That's very cool. Hey, Adam, let me ask you one more question. We're all using new tools. Mitch talked to us about how he's kind of scaling his knowledge. Adam, you're getting an assistant that really helps so that you can give that person some information and they can run with it to help you out. Talk to us about, this is my favorite part of this whole call. Talk to us about the new tech that you're using. What are the apps you mentioned in your notes, but I'll let you bring it up, which one you're using that you said lets you take notes and tasks and also share with your team. What is that?
So I have there's really two pieces of tech there that I'm using that are somewhat new to me, Josh. One is Wunderlist, which is Wunderlist. And Wunderlist allows you to share to-do lists with different people. So I was a to-do list person, but I was using the taskbar in Gmail, and it just wasn't effective for me to sort and put dates on it and be able to share that with my assistant.
Mm-hmm.
With Wunderlist, I'm able to do that, to not only sort it by the priority, but also by the project, and it's just, I find it to be really useful. So I'm using that. It's on multiple platforms. I can get it on my phone, iPad, and on my laptop, and desktop for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I am an Evernote junkie, and I'm unabashed about it. I use Evernote in almost every meeting I sit in. I have multiple different notebooks within Evernote. So I have one for Succeed Faster. I have one for Adam Speaks. I have one for the credit union stuff I do. And in each one of those notebooks, I take really copious notes and then tag those notes with the conversations that I've had. And that way, all of my notes are easily trackable and findable. Where I really like it is if I'm on a phone chat or like this, a Google Hangout or a Skype chat with someone, you can literally record the entire conversation into Evernote. So I can be taking notes within the Evernote, recorded the conversation, and know about where the conversation or the dialogue that I want to go back to took place. It's a super tool to organize yourself and your thoughts. I also use it for journaling. So
do you journal a lot?
I do. A lot is relative, right? Like my wife journals every single night. And I'm not quite to that extent yet, but I will journal about every 2 or 3 days. And the reason that I do that is there was a famous business philosopher named Jim Rohn who passed away about 2 years ago. And Jim Rohn always said that we have 2 things to leave future generations, our words and our pictures. And I want my grandchildren's grandchildren to be able to go back and read through what my life was like in my 20s and 30s. And so a lot of it's just capturing what happened, where we're at in life, decisions we're making. There's a lot of stuff in there about finances and where we sit financially, because that was one of the things I wanted to know about my parents and my grandparents and the ones that came before them, is where were they at in their mid-30s financially, and what did they not necessarily own, but where were they in life? Were they thinking about retirement? Were they just thinking about how to put a meal on the table? And I think that information is really valuable to future generations.
Very cool. Hey, Mitch, talk to us about your favorite apps that are working for you right now.
Absolutely. I love the Evernote, and the Wunderlist is great. For me, one of the things that I was wrestling with was, I've got my coaching business, so a lot of one-on-one clients, and then my speaking business, so you're kind of managing clients there, but sometimes it might be teams or groups of people, that type of thing. And then some of the other businesses that we do and some of the consulting work that we do. And I've got a team that I interact with. And so our biggest thing was kind of tracking our progress, tracking sales in a sales funnel, tracking kind of contacts and follow-up and all of those things. And I'm a relatively simple guy. I mean, you're wicked smart, Josh, so you don't have these problems. But, for me, I got to keep things simple. And so one of the things was I really wanted a system that would allow me to track kind of our sales funnel, where relationships were at, what were our biggest deals, what were we needing to focus on, but also from a monetary standpoint, what are each of those things worth? And where are they at in the process? So I did a lot of research and found futuresimple.com, and I'm using an app that they created called Base. And what I like about Base is it's a really simple customer relationship management system, but it's something that will work whether I'm working on my laptop, whether I'm working on my iPad, whether I'm working on my iPhone. And I can track basically our sales funnel. I can import all of my contacts into that if I want to, but it's just been a really easy system to then keep track of where we're at in the selling process with all the different things that we've got going on. But it also, any of our team members that I want to give access to, they can go in and update notes. They can go in and update anything that's happened. If they've sent an email to a client, or, if I have a contact or a connection with someone and I want to update that, or it's sold, or it moved further in the funnel or whatever, I can update that and continually check myself. And what I always like to do too is if I've got maybe a potential coaching client and I've made the commitment to them that, hey, listen, we had a free session, and I'll say I'll follow up with you on Friday, unless I've got some way to remind myself of that. Man, there's a high chance I'm going to forget to do it. So you can put in all sorts of reminders, reminders to yourself, reminders to other team members, that type of thing. So that's been an app that's been really helpful for me because it's wicked easy to use. It's really something that can share across platforms, but it's been something that's helped us to track, and I can say that it's also helped us to be more profitable and more focused. So I love that. And then my other app is one that I've actually I had been using on a real limited basis in kind of one small area of our business, but because of you and I's interactions, Josh, the time trade has been something I've been using a lot more, because what I was having was I'd come back from an event and want to have connections with people where people would request a little bit of time, and you'd spend 5 emails going back and forth trying to find a convenient time to talk. And Time Trade allowed me to go in, set up certain blocks that interact with my calendar, and I can send them one link, and that person can go search all these different open slots, schedule their own time, and makes an appointment with them, sends them an email, sends me an email, schedules it into my calendar. It's a no-brainer. So that's been huge, a huge time saver for me. So,
and what did that cost
those are a couple
you?
of them.
What did that cost you per year? Was it less than $100?
Time Trade, it's I just set it up, and or I just bought it, and it was $50 for a year.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the highest. I didn't get the Cadillac, but I got the Toyota Camry of their packages. So it was $50 a year, easy.
And Mitch, how many hours a week or a month do you think you save using a tool like that?
Oh man, it'd be hard to quantify, but it's a lot, because a big part of, I've got a passion around connecting people anyway, and I love to follow up with people.
Yeah.
But it's just that whole thing of, I've started to apply it, not just to networking, but I've actually applied it. I've got a high-end coaching program.
Yeah.
And one of the things I do is I give each of those clients a specific link so they can go schedule their own coaching programs, or coaching sessions whenever they need them. They can do a 911, and it's actually increased the value of that coaching package too. So it's one of those where I know it's saving me time, but I'm also finding ways for it to increase impact and revenue and perceived value and all those things.
A 911 meeting. I just learned something cool from you. That's great.
911.
That's great. Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. Adam, talk to us about, the third question, the last question before we open this up to Q&A is, talk to us about a new program that you're working on, because I think it's really interesting to see the two of you very successful. You're family men. You're juggling a lot of hats, but you're also always creating. And right now you're creating something new that's very, very innovative, and I want to hear more about it. What is this new program that takes 30 days?
So I'll tell you the genesis of this first, Josh, which might give some insight into how it came about and why I'm doing it. I'm always amazed that when presented with an opportunity to maybe go to a conference or invest in yourself or invest in a business or to buy a really critical piece of technology in your business, that what I hear from people a lot of times is, oh, I don't have, and insert the amount. I don't have $500. I don't have $1,000. And I took $1,000 because to me that's a number that is meaningful enough for most people that they're really striving to either have that in savings or they need that to go to a conference or whatever it may be. And I was, most of the people on the call know I put on a seminar with a friend of mine called Succeed Faster. And it's once a year. It's in Chicago. Josh, both you and Mitch have been presenters. And we love it. We think it's a phenomenal weekend to change people's lives. But by the time you do registration and travel and hotel and food, you're probably going to spend about $1,000. Mm-hmm. And I was getting from a lot of people, I just don't have that kind of money. And to me, $1,000 is a mindset thing. It's very easy to come up with ways to make $1,000 in a short amount of time. But some people are really they're like conflicted about how to do that. That maybe it doesn't come easily for them. And so I'm creating a 30-day email course called 30 Days to 1K. And 30 Days to 1K is an email a day. And the email a day comes out will have a task associated with it. And each of the tasks are very simple. They're very short, maybe 10 to 12 minutes, 15 minutes tops to complete. But after 30 days of going through this email course, I guarantee that you'll have at least saved $1,000, whether it be cash in hand in the bank or on your way to save that amount of money over, over the next 2 months or 6 months or whatever it may be. So I'm really excited about that because my goal is to unleash a whole new level of savers out there that are then turning that money into an investment to build themselves.
Now, this is interesting. Are you helping people basically for free to win? How does this work? Do you have to sign up to pay to do this, or is it free?
Well, it's interesting you ask. I'm kind of gauging the market right now for this because I think it has value. I know it has value.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to do some gimmies. And
Mm-hmm.
so my goal is to get, somewhere between 30 and 100 people to test this for me. And I want some really, really serious success stories about who saved what and in how quick an amount of time.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for people to sign up and at least volunteer to be guinea pigs for the first round. I think ultimately, Josh, what it will be is much like Mitch has an info product, and he's got now a number of them. This is sort of the beginning for me is I'll get an entry level. This might be a $47 or $97 product. Probably 47 because I want to tell people there's a 20 times return on this investment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next step in the game is to really figure out how to take the money and leverage it, and then how to get the other three freedoms that I mentioned before: time, relationship, and service.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then you could probably also affiliate out to other programs that people that want that. That's really rad.
Absolutely.
So 30 days to 1K. How can people learn more about that?
Well, the best way to learn about it now is if you're interested, it's all being set up right now. We're doing it through Infusionsoft. And so it'll be, basically a responder, and there'll be a squeeze page or a capture page for people's name and email address. Right now, while we're setting it up, if you just want to send me an email, adam@adamspeaks.com, and just say, I'm interested, then what I'll do is I'll put you on a list and send you an invite to participate while we're in beta and just testing it out. But I'm really looking for success stories. So someone that's really geared up about saving money, definitely get me up.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Okay, so 30 days to 1K. That's exciting. And your website is adamspeaks.com, so everybody can go to that.
Right.
Mitch, it's back over to you, my friend. You've got kind of a new pivot that you're doing. Talk to us about that. You're always adding new stuff, taking your big dream gathering and turning it into something. Talk to us about what you're doing there.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things specifically that we're doing is that we're gearing up for this fall. We're going to hold one of those live coach training sessions. We generally just do this one time a year, but this year we've kind of been overwhelmed by demand, and we're pivoting. That's one of the keys in entrepreneurship is to pivot. And so the demand has been interesting on two fronts. One, we've had, as our kind of training school's grown, we've been able to work with coaches all around the world now, and really been able to train up and impact coaches all over. And really they've been able to apply these concepts and grow a business that helps people to live more life they were created to live. So that's always really exciting. And we've had more demand from coaches to say, hey, could you hold one more this year? So that's always an honor. But honestly, the more the pivot is the demand around the need for coaching, people that are actually wanting and asking for coaching. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to a number of coaches that are actually there at a point where they have waiting lists, and they're not able to actually serve everybody that they're wanting to serve. And so we're going to change this up and offer this in the fall. We're also, we're always wanting to innovate and change things, develop things, tweak things. As a sidebar, and this is more encouragement to everybody that's on this call, I had one of those unique experiences this weekend where my wife and I decided to clean out a closet. And it's one of these big old deep closets in our house, that kind of one where there's boxes in there where you're like, how long have those boxes been around? Do we really even own those boxes, And you open some of those boxes up, and we did. And what was interesting is I pulled out in the boxes, one of them was a poster from the first seminar I gave back in 1998. A terrible poster, awful. Had a bad picture of me, and the headline was terrible, and all these things. It was comical. It made me laugh. I was like, oh, I hope nobody saw this, But I thought, and then, pulled out other things like binders from other training, and the first binder from our first coach mindset training. And all of it now, I'm like, oh my gosh, look how far, it was almost embarrassing. At the same time, I thought, the only way we've learned is by trying, by doing, by taking a step out, by saying, all right, what are we going to experiment with, and how can we make a move? How can we make some sort of improvement? How can we try something? Those kinds of things. So, I thought, gosh, the times where innovation has stopped in my business has been the times where I was scared to try something new, or scared to maybe make a fool of myself or whatever, or to put a bad poster out there, for crying out loud, to wait until everything was perfect. And so, I'm not sure where everybody's at that's listening, that's participating, or that will listen to this recording, but I'm guessing you all have something that you're wanting to do that maybe is not perfect yet. And I mean, Adam's is a great example. I mean, I tell you, his program, 30 days, will be an awesome 30 days. It will blow you away. I'm sure of it. But it's not perfect yet. And if he waited until it was perfect, it's never going to happen. Yeah. Right? But it's going to be awesome. So he'll put that out there. He'll take that risk. And I'm guessing for all of you, you got something you're working on, and there's a temptation to wait until it's perfect. And I just encourage you, man, take a step. Do something, small but significant on that goal, and take a step towards it. Implement in some way. And that's what we're doing. We're going to implement some things with this new training. It will be in October 25th through the 27th, right in my hometown of Des Moines, Iowa. We're going to have people come in. Literally, we will have people from all over the world. We keep these small, though. It's probably only going to be 10 people. It's probably what we're going to limit it to. It's going to be amazing. We go through the coach side of the business, and we go through the business side of the business and help people get connected with their ideal client and figure out who that is, and then give them power pack tools to use. But, whether it's coaching that you're interested in or whether it's something else, figure out what that is and just start taking those small but significant steps towards it. Do something. Even though you may pull it out 10 years from now, look back at that and go, oh my gosh, that was laughable, but you'll be so grateful you took that step. Whatever that is, that's what I challenge you to do today.
That's great. Well, let's do this. Does anybody that's in the Google Hangout right now have any questions? Like Amanda, is there anything that you want to ask the guys, since you know them so well? Give them something hard-hitting.
Well, I guess in a lot of your guys' audience, between Adam and Mitch, that you guys speak to, have a lot to do with young professionals in their 20s. And I would be curious to know, looking back, what is one thing that you would have implemented, or a behavior routine that you would have implemented sooner if you would have known then what you know now? What would you have done differently? One thing on behavior or routine.
AC, do you want to go first?
I will defer to you, my good man.
That's awesome. I will tell you, there's 1,000 different things. I don't really have many regrets, just because, I believe in just what we talked about. Experiment, try something, learn from it. If it goes great, fantastic. If it goes down in fiery flames, probably better, because you'll learn more. But I would say one of the biggest things for me is being even more intentional about who I surround myself with. I know for my journey into entrepreneurism, it started out by a decade walk through corporate America. And I learned a lot. I'm really glad that I took that route, because I learned a lot. Corporate America trained me a lot, all those things. I made a lot of money while I did it, that kind of thing. But one of the things that I didn't do, and I know that it slowed up my progress, was I wasn't intentional with who I surrounded myself with on these bigger dreams. I knew that I had a goal of entrepreneurism. I knew I had a goal of launching my own business at some point, but I didn't intentionally surround myself with weirdies. People that had big dreams, the people that were implementing, the people that were walking things out. I surrounded myself with people that really were living a very similar life to me. And I know that that slowed my growth, because, all of a sudden, as I started to get closer maybe to those times where I thought, gosh, I'm closing, I would love to do this. I know that my, basically my launching pad just wasn't there, because I didn't have relationships built that would also support me in some of this crazy thought. And I also know that when I went to some of those people who were living a very similar life to me, and I started to mention things like, hey, I think I want to start my own business, or hey, I want to start doing some of these things on the side, they looked at me like, I had a third head. It just was outside their realm of understanding. And honestly, my big dreams started to make my small network very uncomfortable. So I'd say, you're already doing this, Bo, but I'd say, one of the biggest things is be real intentional. Surround yourself with weird people, like awesome, weird people that are doing things that inspire you. Maybe they're things that you want to do, or maybe they're just things where you're like, man, I don't want to do that, but I'm so inspired by how jazzed they are, or how excited they are, or how the veracity in which they're walking that out. But be intentional with who you're surrounding yourself with, and that's going to only just basically help you to take quantum leaps in your own journey.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good feedback. All right, I'm going to do a quick answer, and it's this. I would get in the habit of taking small risks and know that you're pushing your own boundaries on a regular basis because, as a good friend of ours says, we have to get comfortably outside of our comfort zone and do that a lot. Get in the habit of doing it because I was watching a Google Hangout with Richard Branson and Elon Musk, and Elon Musk was brought to tears at the thought of in 2008 he was almost broke, had poured every amount of money he had into Tesla and SpaceX, and I thought, oh my God, I can't even imagine. There was literally billions of dollars on the line, and he was taking this enormous risk with a company that, let's face it, he wants to land people on Mars is a crazy notion. But for him, it's a very calculated risk, and I just think we have to get really comfortable with taking risks and know what we can achieve and what we probably shouldn't even try to.
That's very cool. Molly or Rachel, do you guys have any questions for them? Can you hear us, Rachel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think your internet connection's very good. You're cutting in and out.
Can you guys?
Well, I will tell you a little
Okay.
tiny trick. I don't think we can hear your audio. I will tell you a little trick that I
That's
just
all right.
learned. A little Google technique. When Adam is speaking, I click on Mitch Matthews' head and I take a screenshot because he's smiling. And when Mitch is speaking, you never want to take a picture of somebody when they're speaking. So when Mitch was speaking, I took a screenshot of Adam Carroll's face because he's active and he's listening. So there's my little Google Hangout trick for everybody. I just learned that.
You're like a Google paparazzi over here.
I know. I've been snapping like crazy. You're going to be all over the web. Well, hey, this is coming down to 32 minutes. I really want to wrap it up so that we respect everyone's time. I really want to thank Adam and Mitch for being a part of this. This was really great. You guys are awesome, very inspirational, and you're kicking butt. So keep up the great work. Thanks for being a part of this. You guys can learn more about Adam Carroll at adamspeaks.com. You can learn more about Mitch Matthews at mitchmatthews.com. 2 T's in the last name. I'm Josh Ochs with MediaLeaders.com. I look forward to seeing you in the future. Thanks so much for being a part of this. As always, keep it light, bright, and polite. Have a great day.